This week's best MMA bets, we're talking UFC Vegas 53, Rob Font versus Marlon Vera. Super exciting card. I'm really looking forward to going through the pure betting side of things. Guys, make sure to smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and share the video as well. And let's get into the locks of the night, and then we'll follow it with dogs, props, and parlays. Very exciting card, which I do think there are a couple of decent locks here that might be worth playing. The first one I'm going to bring up is the most ludicrous line in MMA history, the widest line, I believe, in UFC history ever. It's Alexander Romanov versus Chase Sherman. It's minus 1,610 in favor of Romanov at best value. Other books have it minus 2,000, minus 6,000. Bet Online has it at minus 2,500. Romanov is an extremely strong favorite in this spot for good reason. He should win the matchup. You look at Chase Sherman stylistically, this is a nightmare for him. He took it on very short notice, gets an extra week after he pulled out last weekend and they pushed it back 1 week. Doesn't matter here. I think Romanov wins on the floor, TKO or ground and pound, but the line is atrocious. Sherman's a plus 1,300 dog. There's really not a ton of quality bets you can make on this fight unless you're very confident in under 1.5, which is at that minus 290 tag, which is still a bit wide. If you look towards some of the other props, we'll see what's released here because they only have like about 8 props released. You have ends inside of the distance in favor of Romanov. That's minus 550. They will be dropping the complete props, which for some reason they don't have, which it's already Wednesday. It's odd they don't have them all out yet. We'll cover them on the weigh-in recap show or even tomorrow on the money line. So make sure to tune into those shows as well so we can talk some more props on this fight. But right now, Romanov is an absolute lock. He should destroy Sherman. I'm calling submission as far as the pick goes. Maybe you'll touch the sub prop. I believe last time, don't quote me on it, it may have been minus 115 last weekend. The knockout plus 115 or plus 160, something like that. You're going to get decent money if you're picking method of victory. It's just a scary method of victory to pick because I think Romanov destroys Sherman on the ground, and he might sub him or he might TKO him, and inside the distance at minus 550 is unplayable. Under 1.5, the best tag at minus 290 there. Let's keep going through these locks. The next one is going to be the debut of Tatsuro Taira. I really like him here against Carlos Candelario. I've been impressed with this kid's game. Good grappling skill set, solid stand-up game, 22 years of age. I see him beating Candelario. Taira is a minus 220 favorite in this fight. That's best value. Not an amazing line, but it's not bad either. A guy that I'm pretty confident in winning. Could be a parlay piece. If you do want to attack a money line, you certainly could here at that minus 220 tag. Over 1.5 rounds, minus 195. I do think we're going over a round and a half. I have Taira to win by decision. Over 2.5 is minus 108. Maybe there's something to play there. If you like Taira to win by decision, you're picking that. The method of victory prop is sitting at plus 240. Would I be shocked if Taira gets a sub? Definitely not. My official pick there, let me double check. I have it written. I believe it was Taira, maybe by submission. Yes, I did have him by sub, but I could also see decision. So let me line up. Taira by sub is plus 210. Decision plus 240. I like that over 1.5, minus 195. I like Taira money line. Very exciting fight. I can't wait to see this Japanese prospect as well. So a lot of excitement as far as having money down and watching somebody to keep an eye on in the flyweight division. Good fight to start the night too. Our next lock is going to be Gina Mazany. Stylistically, I think this is a very favorable matchup against Shayna Young. I have not been very impressed with Shayna Young. Mazany has a very good grappling game. She's strong with her wrestling. She's heavy on top. Got caught up on the feet with Cachoeira. Young does not bring that power. As long as Mazany can land a few takedowns, even work against the cage, even striking, I see it fairly competitive. I think Mazany might have a bit of an edge. I like her here. Minus 165, Gina Mazany. Plus 160 for Shayna Young. I am on the favorite, Mazany, to win via decision. Mazany to win by decision is plus 170. The over 1.5, minus 325. Over 2.5 is minus 170. I'm picking it goes distance. but it's not going to surprise me if there's a finish here. Maybe Mazzani on the floor with some ground and pound, or potentially even submission, but more so confident in the decision. So the pick is decision. So Mazzani's over 2.5 at -170 should be a casher. We'll find out on fight night. Very exciting matchup too. Even though it's like lower level ladies, I'm actually really curious to see how these two face off. I've been following Mazzani for a while, and I am excited for her training with James Krause. I'm looking forward to seeing some success, and I think this is a matchup she can be very successful in. Let's keep running through these locks. The next lock is going to be Andrade Fili, -235. Still a hard fight. It's not going to be a super easy matchup for Fili, but he should beat Joe Anderson Brito. I'm picking him to win a decision. The low kicks of Brito are a strong factor that could pose threat for Fili. Still, I think Fili's grappling game is quality, and he could mix in takedowns with Brito. I do think he definitely has the better hands. I think kickboxing, it's competitive. He just needs to be cautious of those low kicks. Brito is a guy that kind of is overzealous. Gasses himself, goes really hard, heavy shots each and every time, whereas Fili will throw a 50% punch, which is definitely more built to going long. I like Fili wins a decision at -235, decent tag money line. The over 2.5 is -185 here. Fili to win a decision, +150 as well. I do like Fili to win this fight via decision. That is the official pick, and at +150, it's not a bad tag. I don't think it's super likely that Joe Anderson Brito wins, and I like over 2.5 as well for this matchup. The next lock of the night, and the final true lock of the night, it's going to be Grant Dawson over Jared Gordon. Now, Grant Dawson needs to fight smart here. He can't gas out like he did with Ricky Glenn. Jared Gordon is not an easy fight. I feel like the lines could be -115, -105, whatever. I think these lines could be closer, but Dawson's still a very top prospect. Gordon is 18-4 as a pro. He's got an incredible record, and you look, his most recent losses to the champ, he's 4-1 in the last 5. It was against Oliveira, the loss. He got knocked out. Gordon's a hard fight. He went with Joe Selecki, who's a very good grappler. I think Dawson is superior to a Selecki. He just can't gas out here. He can't get put in bad spots towards the end. Imagine you get another draw in this matchup. That'd be crazy. I got Grant Dawson winning a decision and being fairly poised in this matchup. Over 2.5, -205. Dawson via decision, +165. I think that over 2.5 is actually a quality play. I think we're going the over. I'm pretty confident in it. Dawson as well to win by decision, +165, tends to be a decisionator. Gordon, durable guy, especially in this matchup where Gordon can grapple. And I think he can be defensively sound enough to go the full distance here. Striking, Dawson just can't get caught close. And I mean, Gordon's hands are not bad. Definitely more of a plodding striking style, likes to be in your face. I like Grant Dawson to win the fight, but not an easy matchup. -165, okay tag. Over 2.5, I like even more. Those are the locks of the week for this UFC Vegas 53 card. We're going to jump to the dogs. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you haven't. Dog number 1 is going to be in the main event. It's Marlon Chito Vera. I have him beating Rob Font on a very competitive decision. I think he can do more with the grappling. I think the low kicks are going to be a factor. I think knees and elbows in close range are a factor. Straight boxing, Rob Font, that's his best attribute. His jab is on the money. Vera needs to find a way to get past it. I believe he will. And I think mixing in takedowns and chopping at the legs is going to be a big method of victory. +120 for Marlon Vera. I like him to win this fight longer here, but I don't really like the decision prop. Vera by decision, +285. Over 2.5 rounds is -260 here. I actually think that's a pretty good tag. I feel like we're going over 2.5. I also think we're going over 3.5. That's -185. Gets riskier, but it might be worth a touch. Over 4.5, -155. It could happen. I am picking it to happen, but it's not my favorite bet. Personally, don't love it. And then the under 4.5 is actually +135 on the opposite side. I think we're going the full, and I think Vera wins the decision. Could he potentially get a win inside of the distance? It's not impossible. Vera inside distance, +325. That's an extremely wide tag. Vera to win via submission is sitting at +900. I don't know about finish here. I like Vera by decision. I like fight going longer. I think that over 2.5, over 3.5 is a decent play if you're looking for straight over-unders to touch on this fight. But the money line, Marlon Vera, I think that's the one to throw down on if you're feeling confident in the dog, as I know a lot of people are at this point. I am as well. I like Marlon Vera winning the fight, plus money. Give me that plus money tag on Cheeto, upwards of plus 120 now. Even the line just moved here. So pretty solid bet if you like playing those main events. Could be a sweater, but I think it comes through. The next dog of the night is going to be Tristan Connolly. I really feel like stylistically he's going to match up really well with Darren Elkins. And it was good to see on last night's Late Night Live. I had Clint from the Die Hard MMA podcast, and we are on this exact same tag. We both can see Tristan Connolly winning this fight by a decision because he's not a guy that's going to get overzealous and gas himself. To beat Darren Elkins, control him against the cage, work against the cage, and even Connolly said in an interview, that's what he's looking to do here. Take it at a slower pace. Connolly by decision, he's plus 150 money line. His opponent Elkins is minus 161. I am confident Connolly can beat him here. I think we're going longer, over 2.5, minus 195. Connolly wins a decision, plus 315. I think it's going to happen. I think Connolly's winning the decision. Maybe you want to sprinkle that line while playing Connolly at plus 155. He's a dog that I love, and I think stylistically, very favorable matchup for him. He beat Michel Pereira at 170. He's down at 145. I think he can beat an older and slowing Darren Elkins. Just the stylistic matchup to me is very good for Tristan. Connolly for the W, and one of my favorite dogs of the card. Maybe my favorite one. We still got more to cover. The next dog of the night is going to be Gerald Meerschaert over Krzysztof Jotko. Not an easy matchup. I'm picking Meerschaert, but it's competitive. Plus 150 for Meerschaert. Jotko, the minus 163 favorite. I like Meerschaert to win. I think Meerschaert does catch a submission in this fight. That's probably his most likely method of victory for Meerschaert via sub. The line is sitting at plus 460 best value, but more so around that plus 300 tag. I think that's what's going to come through. It's not an easy fight, though. Definitely not an easy fight. The under 2.5 rounds is minus 105, and you know what? If it's Jotko winning, it's probably decision. If it's Meerschaert winning, it's submission. Spotty one to bet, but for me, it's the dog side. I like submission, maybe sprinkling that. If you're on Jotko and you want him by decision, the line for Jotko to win via decision is plus 220 at best value. But I am on that Meerschaert via submission line. Definitely something to look at as playing with the sprinkle prop, and then Meerschaert money line plus 150 is not a bad dog attack at all. The next dog of the night, I'm going to be picking Mike Breeden over Natan Levy. Underdog plus 170, more experience. I think Natan Levy's a bit overrated. I really haven't been super impressed with him outside of that Contender Series fight against Shanine Santana. Even the fight prior to that wasn't impressed. I think Mike Breeden can win a hard-fought decision, but it's not really a favorite bet for me. But it is a dog that I'm touching, and it's very close. Plus 171 for Mike Breeden. That's a straight money line play. Over a round and a half, minus 312. I think we're going over a round and a half. Over 2.5 rounds, minus 175. If it's the Breeden side winning, I'm kind of leaning decision. But Levy by submission is something that we have to look at regardless of which side you're on. It is plus 260. Maybe fight day, I'll get some weird intuition feeling, and I have made bets off a little intuition fight day as well and cash through on guys that I'm not picking, but the bet sometimes is just worth it. Matchup wise, it could happen. Levy by submission sitting at plus money, plus 260. Breeden almost getting subbed by Nick Compton. It might be worth a stab. But overall, I'm still on the Breeden side. I like him by decision. I think he has a wider range of skill set. If he can defend the takedowns, I think a lot of pressure striking. I think he could beat Levy on a close decision. Mike Breeden, dog. And the final dog of the night, one that I really like here, is Johan Lenice. Plus 130 over Gabe Green at minus 120. Johan for the win. I think it's going to be by KO. I'm feeling like Johan plus 325 by KO is almost like a must-play prop. Sprinkle it down. I'm going to be touching it personally. He's a power puncher. Gabe Green likes to be in your face. He's got a very in-your-face pressure striking style. The chin is there to be hit. Lenice hits with a lot of pop. I think he can sleep Gabe Green. I know in the UFC, Gabe Green hasn't been knocked out, but he has been knocked out on the regional scene. I think it could happen here. I think Johan Lenice win by KO plus 325. If you want to touch him straight money line plus 122, you certainly can. But I like that knockout prop personally. I think we're going under 2.5, which is minus 160 as well. Not a bad bet. I like Johan for the finish, but under 2.5. Both guys could get a finish here, especially if Johan goes crazy for the stoppage, gasses out, and then Green finishes him off in the second or third. It's possible. Under 2.5, minus 160. But I like Lenise by KO. Those are the dogs. Overall, it's a card that I'm stoked for as far as, the locks and the dogs. Some fun matchups. Now, if we're going to jump into some props, the prop section is more the extra props, a little etc. to the line. Now, Jake Collier and Andrei Arlovski, the line is not great to look at for over 1.5, minus 325, but I think that's a lock. I do believe we're going over around 1.5. I have Arlovski winning the fight, but not confident enough to pick him as a lock of the week. And then I have Collier as a live underdog who I'm picking against, but not enough to pick him as a dog of the week. But plus 123 for Collier. I don't hate anybody on the Collier side. Minus 132, Arlovski. Arlovski is an older guy, 43. 10 years younger is Jake Collier at 33. KO prop for Jake Collier, plus 450, but I think Arlovski wins the decision. That's plus 155. Not a bad idea if you are playing the Arlovski side. Maybe you sprinkle on that Collier by KO to hedge yourself a bit, or even if you're not touching it, you're kind of like, you know what, I think Collier might win by KO. I want to throw down on it. This would be a fight to do such. I'll see fight day how I feel. I'm going to wait for the face-offs, and then, maybe I'll throw a little sprinkle prop, but I don't want to bet Arlovski straight here. At 43 years of age, it really breaks a lot of rules to money line play him, at least for me, but I am picking Andrei Arlovski to win the bout. Very tough matchup, but that knockout prop for Collier at that plus 400 range and the over 1.5, even though it's ugly at minus 325, might be worth a touch, and I have to actually give you the over 2.5 as well. Over 2.5, minus 185. It's scary with big heavyweights, but I do think it's going over 2.5. The next of our etc. props here. Daniel Lacerda and Francisco Figueiredo. I think Lacerda wins the fight. He's minus 120 as the favorite. I think that he's going to get it done by submission. Lacerda, let's see here, to win by a sub. Let's see if that line is out. It is out. The money of it for Lacerda to win via submission is plus 400. I think that's worth a sprinkle touch. Plus 400. Lacerda, close money favorite, minus 125. Francisco Figueiredo's gun shy. Lacerda's never gone distance. Interesting fight. Under 2.5 rounds is sitting at plus 105. Could see it going the under. Over a round and a half, minus 240. Scarier bet, though, because Lacerda is very dangerous on the floor. And, I mean, obviously, Francisco trains with his brother, who's elite class. But Lacerda seems like a legit prospect. He took a short notice fight against Jeff Molina and had him in weird spots on the ground. I like the jiu-jitsu a lot of Lacerda. I'm picking him to win. Not necessarily loving the betting side. Under 2.5, plus 105. But plus 400, win by submission. Lacerda is a pretty decent Hail Mary style prop. And let's see if there's any of the fights that I didn't really cover. No, I think we pretty much covered the props of all the fights here. We went deep with it. I really enjoyed the hell out of the locks, dogs, and props segments here. But we're going to jump to the parlay section. Now, I have a lot of people that have been asking me to put the odds on screen, especially for this segment. So for the parlays, I will bring the screen up. We have our potential plays. Now, this is not my favorite card to parlay, to be 100% real with you. I was thinking Tatsuro Taira and Gino Mazzani, plus 122. I know it's ugly to play Mazzani, but I think both of these fighters should win. Taira debut, it's a scary situation to be in, but they are locks. It's just scary to look at two early fighters in the night. That definitely it could end up going the opposite way. But plus 122 for that. If you like either of them, you could potentially not touch them either and still make some cash here. If you want Marlon Vera later on in the night, you're like, listen, I like Chito, and then you want to play the over 2.5 for Dawson versus Jared Gordon. That's plus 216. I think that's a great value play if you're on double underdogs. If you don't like Vera at the top, I do understand some of you will be on the other side. Let's see here. Tristan Connolly, dog and dog attack, plus 259. I do think that one could come through as well. There's no reason to add Romanov in. It brings you to minus 200. I don't think it's a quality play. Let's see. Some of these locks I want to see that I want to add in. Do I want to throw Andre Fili? I do think he could be a touch. It's even money if you get Fili. He should win the fight. He really should win. Andre Fili, I'm going to ride with him here. And then Dawson Gordon over 2.5 is an extremely confident play. And it's with proven fighters in the UFC. Now, if you want to add a little more of the unproven side, which is always dangerous, but you add in Tatsuro Taira, you have plus 183 now. You don't like Taira, you like Mazzani, you're sitting at plus 209. You like both of them, you're at plus 341. This is a wider line and one that could cash. I personally am going to be touching this line, not with a ton. I like to sprinkle some of these parlays, especially 4-fighter parlay, but I do think it could come through here. I have a strong feeling that we're looking at some success. You want the Chito, the main event, plus 337 if you have him. Tristan Connolly's another great piece. If you want to go Chito and Connolly, you got plus 993. That's the Hail Mary parlay of the week. That's a wide one, but it's one that I actually see high likelihood of success. Now, you're not going to be able to play Fili over and playing a money line, at least not for me at Bet Online, but I know some spots may allow you. If you're not playing Fili, but you want to play the over 2.5, Fili Brito, over 2.5, Dawson Gordon, and then you put Connolly, Marlon Vera, big dog attack, plus 1,104. I am going to look at what it would look like if we didn't have Vera or Connolly on the line and we just had Tatsuro Tayada. It's still plus 212 for that one. I like that line. Gino Mazzani, plus 386. Take out Tayada, plus 240 on the line. These are like the picks I'm feeling better about. I do think Johan Lenice is going to win, but I think we're getting a little nuts. But, you know, we always get nuts with the parlay section. It's just how we got to do it. As I look through this, I start getting excited at the possibilities. Mazzani, Lenice, and then the over 2.5 for the Gordon-Dawson fight, plus 380. If you want to play Vera at the top, another solid addition. We're getting Hail Mary style here. Tatsuro Tayada, plus 1405. But let's remove Vera for now. Plus 500 still for this line. I do think Johan Lenice gets the knockout in this fight. It's a matchup I'm really looking forward to seeing. Overall, I think we can play some very interesting bets as far as the parlays go. I think we went over a good portion of them. 2 3-fighter parlays max if you're looking for the maximal return compared to risk, right? You get into these 4-fighter plays, you want to play dogs, you know what? We're going to go nuts. I'm going to send you off with the craziest play, the dog assault play, because I have to here. We're going to go straight Marlon Vera. We're going to go Tristan Connolly, who I think wins. We're going to go Tatsuro Tayada, Gino Mazzani, plus 1120, and then we're going to add in Dawson and Gordon to go over 2.5 rounds, plus 1650. Then we're going to add in Andrade Fili money line, plus 2,323. This is the Hail Mary of the week right there, the absolute Hail Mary. Wide. I think it's going to happen. Risky for sure. Something could go wrong here, 100%. But it's also a possible casher, which I will be riding with. Guys, I hope you enjoyed another episode of this week's Best MMA Bets. Let me know what you think when I bring the odds up on screen. I've had some people in the comments that have been asking for it, so I did want to bring it at least to light for the parlay section. So definitely, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys think of the picks and the potential bets. Let me know your bets too. Much love, my people. Love this week's Best MMA Bets. It's been a blast. Keep it locked in at MMA Experts. Smash the likes. Subscribe if you're new and turn on those post notifications. If you really enjoy the content, make sure to share it as well. And hey, don't hesitate to leave a W in the chat to boost that algorithm. Much love, my people, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace, guys.